Hi, everybody. Jean Humbrecht with Humbrecht Law, criminal and traffic defense attorney in Manassas, Virginia. Welcome to our next local business spotlight. Today, I am joined by my friend Doug Burham with Loudoun Insurance Group. I'm going to read a little intro about Doug, and I'm going to turn it over to him to tell everybody a little bit more about what he does, because insurance can cover many different topics. So Doug joined Loudoun Insurance Group because of the professional team has the strength, expertise, partnerships, and local knowledge to help the needs of any individual, family, or business. With them, it is personal. Throughout Doug's career as a sales professional, he has always been passionate about building relationships and adopting new concepts to better himself, his company, and his client's experience. His philosophy is and will always be that every client is unique and every plan needs to be customized. There is no one-size-fits-all solution in the insurance industry. This is why he considers himself an advisor. He wants to build a relationship with his clients so that he can walk along beside them as their needs change. And with today's consumers operating in a drastically different manner than they have in previous years, internet-based shoppers are easily overwhelmed, that's true, with a variety of companies who all look to sell similar products. This technology-driven world provides customers with much craved instant gratification. A thriving business in this realm operates at a level in which each buy-in generates a client who has developed a sense of unity with the company. That is a very good description, Doug, of what you do. So you want to tell everybody a little bit more about what Loudoun Insurance Group does and the specific type of insurance that you help people find?
Got it. Sure. So actually, I thought I was done after that bio. No, I'm just kidding. So Loudoun Insurance Group has been around for a little over 15 years, and we specialize in helping the needs of an individual to a business owner, no matter the size of employees you have. We have an insurance group for health insurance. We can help you with benefits. We can help you from everything from general liability for your business, workers' compensation, E&O insurance, directors and officers insurance. So we can cover every gamut of the coverage. So like in my bio, it's most important for me to sit down with you, or at least have a conversation with you over the phone to find out a lot about your business so that we can help determine the risk that your business may incur. Learning more about you and kind of go back to that's what I specialize in, helping business owners. But in general, Loudoun Insurance Group can help you with any of your insurance needs, from an umbrella and everything. So, but I like to sit down with an individual and learn more about them to see what's important to them, because I like to use my motto is helping protect matters most. And what matters most to me isn't always what's the most important to you. So if I don't understand you as a person or a business, I can't help you. So that makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah. You mentioned something earlier, E&O insurance. What is that?
That's errors and omissions insurance. So like a guy like me, if I sell you an insurance policy and I sell you the wrong kind of policy, it's insurance for me to protect myself in case I don't fully understand what you do as a business owner, and I sell you a general liability policy that isn't necessarily going to cover it. That's what my coverage will pick up the slack on to help in case I misunderstand you or I was misrepresented by you, so to speak, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So there's lots to insurance, and it depends. Like for yourself, you're an attorney. You specialize in helping people with their traffic tickets and stuff like that. Well, if someone were to sue you, your E&O policy would cover you. For not doing a good enough job, because we live in this world of everybody wants to sue everybody. So it's extra protection. We still need people like you, though, Jean. Even though we have insurance, we still need attorneys. So to help pick up the slack, because all the insurance companies have attorneys in their back pocket. So each individual should have an attorney too. So
Yeah. Each individual should have an attorney. And you also mentioned that you specialize in working with small business owners. Is that what you said?
I do. Correct. Okay. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, can you tell people who are watching the different types of, because people who own a business probably already know what types of insurance they need, but can you tell people the different types of insurance that businesses possibly could need?
Sure. For most of you would think you need general liability as a business owner because, cover the slip and fall if someone walked into your business, your office.
Mhm.
That's what the general liability is going to cover. But there are general liability policies are just that in general. So there's different coverages depending on the company that you've placed the insurance with, what's covered under that general liability. A lot of companies will give you the general, say $1 million in liability coverage, but they'll exclude something out of it. So you have to buy back that coverage, meaning like maybe you just have a general liability policy, but you don't have any coverage for your business equipment on that policy. It has to be added. So in your case, you got computers, desk, and everything in your office.
Mm-hmm.
Be covered in case there's a fire and you lose everything. You should have cyber liability coverage, which does not come with a general liability policy because you have a lot of people's information. So if someone were to hack you, you should have the cyber coverage or data breach and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The company, what they call it. And sometimes they have two different versions of it with a policy. So you want to make sure you have the coverage for that. So that's the kind of stuff I look at. Like, take us as an insurance agency. We have cyber coverage. We have data breach coverage. We have E&O insurance. We have general liability. All these coverages just in case something happens. Because, again, there's a lot of hackers out there trying to steal everybody's information. As an insurance agency, we have thousands upon thousands of people's information. So we have to have the cyber protection to cover us. So depending on what kind of business you have, if you take a credit card for payment, that credit card processing company has insurance protecting them.
Mm-hmm.
But what if the person, say you took a credit card payment and you didn't have data or cyber protection, and they came after you, then that's coming out of your pocket to cover that expense. The credit card company does. They already have the insurance, and the insurance is going to cover it. But if they can't prove where the data is, most of us are going to sue everybody involved
Mm-hmm.
when their data is stolen. So and the facts are it's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when someone's going to hack you. Small businesses, they say 60% of small businesses get hacked or out of business within 6 months because they didn't have proper coverage. So that's my job, to make sure whatever you're doing, to learn what you're doing and make sure you have proper coverage for it.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's a lot of stuff that people don't think about. They think that just general liability will cover everything. So what does general liability cover if it doesn't cover the cyber attacks, if it does it cover slip and falls? Is that what it covers?
Correct. Generally, that's exactly what it is. It's a general liability policy is going to cover slip and fall. Someone falls and gets hurt and sues you. You got $1 million worth of coverage, depending on the way the policy is written. Typically, it'll give you some coverage for the building that you're renting or the space that you're renting. Again, it depends on each company. Some companies will give you $100,000 with their policy. Some will give you $1 million worth of coverage for the building that you're renting or own. It all depends on that. And that's why for a guy like myself, I have to truly understand what you're doing
Mm-hmm.
and where your space is. Even a home-based business needs general liability just in case, because some homeowners won't want you to have a home-based business, homeowners policies. So you got to look at everything. It all depends on what you do.
Huh. So if somebody does operate a business out of their house, their homeowner's policy is not going to cover any of that.
It depends on the insurance company. Some insurance companies don't like home-based businesses.
Okay.
Especially if you're inviting someone in.
Right.
Typically someone comes in your house, whether it's for business or not, you have some liability on your homeowner's policy, anywhere from $100,000 to $1 million, depending on your policy, how it's written and what company it's with. You're going to have some liability. But let's just say, what if if you don't have a general liability policy for your business, even though it's a home-based business. Someone slips and falls and sues the business and personally, if the homeowner's insurance isn't aware you have a home-based business, they can deny the claim as well as you not have coverage. And then all of a sudden now they're suing you as an individual because there's no coverage. And if they get a good attorney involved, they can get a lot of money.
What if a person does some work at their home, but
are you
it's
inviting
not
a client?
home-based?
Are you inviting a client home to your house?
Well, let's just start with if you do some work for your business at home, but it's not a home-based business.
If you're just doing work, like you take your computer home and you do work like that, there's no issues. It's actually invite a client into your home to do business. That's when it can become an issue if they fall. So again, it's all depends. There's a lot of verbiage. Attorneys write these contracts. Okay. And that's exactly what an insurance policy is. It's a contract. It spits out exactly on the 180 pages of that documentation, what's covered and what's not. And then you have the option to buy more coverage into that policy. So sometimes you think let's just say you're a contractor and you have a general liability policy and you're a carpenter guy and it's $600, let's just say it's $600 a year, but there's no coverage for his equipment. There's no coverage for it's just general liability. There's no business owner property or anything like that. You can get a cheap policy, but it doesn't always mean you're going to have all the coverage that you actually need. Because insurance companies are funny. If it's not on that policy, spit out, they're not covering it. So we want to make sure we have everything covered that could possibly happen.
Right.
In today's world, cyber is the biggest add-on because we know just with COVID alone, it brought up the numbers 400% last year in cyber attacks. Individuals and small businesses, because they're not always just looking for your money. They're looking for your identity to go out and buy something. I mean, there are stories of young kids finding out that they owned a condo in Miami and it went into foreclosure and they had 2 cars repoed and they're not even 12 years old. Identity theft is the biggest issue right now. So, but anyway, those are things I look for when we're looking at a business owner to make sure they're properly covered. Because again, most of these coverages don't cost a whole lot of money to have them added on. It's just finding out what's important to the client about their business to make sure we can properly cover them. Because I don't want an E&O claim on my policy. So I got the best I can do to get as much information out of an individual.
And do you also deal with workers' compensation?
Sure do. We will write workers' compensation, and our insurance agency is important in just about every state in the country. So we can help any business owner anywhere.
So
for that matter.
Can you tell people what types of businesses would need workers' comp insurance?
Any business that has an employee should have workers' compensation. The reason being is, let's just say you're a small business owner and you hire your cousin and he's the only employee. He's not going to sue you, right? Because he slipped and fell and got hurt and can't work anymore because he's family, right? Not true. Families are the first one that's going to sue you. The state of Virginia says you plus 2 employees, whether they're full or part-time, you should have insurance, workers' comp in place. I recommend if it's you plus 1, full or part-time, you should have workers' comp in place because the workers' comp policy, yes, it protects the employee, but it truly protects you because if, let's just say, our line of work, we might slip, we might bust a knee or whatever. That's nothing major because you and I work in an office and we go back and forth. But let's say you're a roofer. You fall off a roof and it's just you as the owner and you have one employee, a helper. He falls off that roof. He may possibly never work again in his life. If you don't have workers' compensation, he's suing you for you. Workers' compensation will pay unlimited amount of money whatever it takes to take care of that individual. You could have a guy fall off a roof and he may never be able to work. They will give him his income basically for the rest of his life if he'll never actually work. So you as an owner of a business don't want to be responsible for paying this guy's salary, let's just call $5,000 a month for the next 30, 80 years, because it really depends on how bad they get hurt. It's an unlimited number of what that policy can pay. It'll pay as little as just, you slice your finger, you're at a restaurant, you're a cook, you slice your finger and it costs you say $600 to go to MetPay or Medicare or something, not Medicare. That's the older people. Sorry.
Urgent care.
Yeah. Urgent care or something like that. You get a $400 to $600 bill. Workers' comp will cover that. If you don't do any work, and then they'll pay the bill. It's no big deal. But, but even as a small business owner, you don't want that expense. You don't want to have to be surprised with a $600 bill. So workers' comp will cover that. But let's just say he sliced off his finger and he's out of work for a month. Workers' comp will cover his time missed from work and getting the bills taken care of and make sure he gets back to normal, so to speak.
Okay, so workers' comp also covers the things that I want to say it's called supplemental insurance covers, like AFLAC.
Well, those are different. Like, for example, if an employee gets hurt, all the bills will be covered by the workers' comp policy. AFLAC's policies, they give you supplemental for like on your health insurance, and yes, they'll give you if you get hurt. But the AFLAC policies typically don't cover on the job. It's after the job when you're not working on the job, unless you got a supplemental add to that AFLAC policy that cover you while you're at work. But what that'll give you, that's a supplemental. That'll give you just money. Like, for example, most of us on our health insurance have like a $6,000 deductible. Have to spend every year before we get 100% covered. Black policies will give you money to help go towards that $6,000. Does that make sense? So they're a great tool. Disability coverage, all those things that AFLAC offers, that is a great thing. That's a great way, because we all know health insurance is outrageous. It's crazily priced. Half of us don't understand it. Quite honestly, I'm in the insurance business and I don't understand health insurance. I give it to my office and people like that. That's what they do. And I turn it over to people that understand it, because there's so much that every year it changes, with regulations and rules and what you can be covered. And the prices are always going up. So most of us are trying to figure out how to pay that higher deductible for guys like myself who only go to the doctor when my wife makes me. Okay. So I'll pay the higher deductible to have the lesser monthly payment. Right. But if you're an individual that, let's just say, goes to the doctor once a month, then maybe you do want that lower deductible, because then you're getting a benefit. But you can put a supplemental insurance in there like an AFLAC to help offset those costs. If you had to pay the higher deductible and get an AFLAC policy, that's going to actually make your health insurance costs lower because you're monthly. So you can work out different ways like that. I feel like I'm talking with my hands a lot right now. I'm going to put them down. This is what video does to me.
I do the same thing. Even though there are people watching us, we're just having a conversation.
Right.
But
go ahead.
One thing I wanted to ask about the AFLAC, and I'm just saying that because that's the only company I know of that does this. Supplemental insurance, meaning you have health insurance, you get hurt, something happens, you get sick. Your health insurance covers that to the extent they cover it.
Right.
But there are other expenses like missed work time, things like that. If maybe if you have to buy things for your injury or illness, that why don't you tell me what the supplemental covers? Because people think that if they get sick or hurt, their health insurance is going to cover everything, but that's not true.
True. It is not true. Just like on the other policies we're talking about. So health insurance, again, it's a contract. It tells you what's going to be covered, what your copays are, and all that kind of stuff. And depending on the company, how high your copay is and what plan you signed up for. Again, the higher deductible, you want a lower copay or higher copay because you want to pay less per month. So you got to work it out. But like an Aflac policy, it's just going to pay you based on whatever the situation is in their contract. Let's say you have a broken arm, they're going to pay you a certain amount. Doesn't matter if you miss work. Let's just say it's $1,500. They're going to give you $1,500, and you can do with that $1,500 whatever you want. You can put it towards your bills, because you are going to typically have a bill, especially if you go to the emergency room. Because if you go to the emergency room, you're going to pay more for those bills than if you went to an alt med or an urgent care or something like that. Because emergency rooms seem to charge you for everything in double. It's because our healthcare system is so great. But anyway, I won't ramp on that. But so that's what supplemental will do. That's your money because you bought an extra insurance to help you. There are purchases that you can get in these supplemental plans that actually will pay your copay for you too. Like, for example, you mentioned Aflac. Allstate Benefits has programs just like it, and they have literally if you go to the doctor 3 times a year, it'll pay for the supplemental plan that you purchased because they're going to give you $50 for every one of your visits. So with your insurance, it just what the whole idea behind it is to keep your costs down. So you might, let's just say you spend $10 a month on this particular product, and that's a low number, but that'll help. That'll give you money towards if you go to the hospital, if you get hurt, you twist an ankle, you're out of work. So they're all designed and they're all different. Just like one homeowner's policy is not going to be the same as another. You have to look at everything, and that's what we do as agents. We look at everything because most of us as individuals, we look at the price tag.
Mm-hmm.
Cost me. We don't know. Just it may be $600 for this, but for $700, you actually have a whole lot more coverage. And I'm just numbers out, but that's why it's valuable to have a person like myself, an advisor, to give you advice on recommendations on coverages. Because again, you want to pay less per month, great, but really, what are you getting covered for that money? Is it more beneficial for you to spend $50 more a month? I'm just pulling numbers, and get better coverage. And in the long run, it's actually cheaper for you. We've all bought something and it's like, okay, this was cheaper by $10 online and it broke the next day. If we just spend $20 because your neighbor bought the one that was $20 and it lasted a year, it's just, we got to look at everything because again, don't take this the wrong way, Miss Attorney. These contracts are written by attorneys and they're to benefit the insurance companies. Okay. Now, the truth behind the matter is when you have these policies in place, you have the coverage, but you pay for what you get, so to speak. Sometimes the cheaper policy is the better policy. Like us at Loudoun Insurance Group, we represent hundreds and hundreds of the companies in different avenues for insurance. So we look at everything. Like on a personal note, we put it into a rater and we'll get 20 different quotes for a homeowner's policy for you. And then we look at the price and look at the coverage and then present the best price and the best coverage to our clients. When I do a commercial quote, I have to do it in each system. So I quote with 10 or 20 different companies, depending on the kind of business that you have, and get you the best coverage and the best price. And that's what we do is we look at, again, if we know who you are, what you're doing, we know how to give you a plan to help protect you. It's like with your business, when you sit down and talk to somebody and they call you because they got a traffic ticket and, one guy has never had a traffic ticket in his life. That's probably your best client because it's going to be easier for you to fight that one versus if it's me and I've got 3 speeding tickets and then you go to the judge for me and say, but judge, he promised he won't speed again. Can you make this one go away? No, you don't have a chance with that. I know you got some specialties that you can figure out how to maybe reduce it to failure to obey a highway sign or something like that, which makes my driving record look a lot better. But if I had 0 points on my driving record, and this is my first ticket and I'm 55 now, forever, it's going to be a lot easier for you to help get me to make that ticket go away. So the more information I give you, the better you can defend me.
Mm-hmm.
Information you give me, the better I can insure you. So my thought process is I like to be what I term myself as your all assured solutions. So you tell me what matters the most to you and I can protect you. I can find a solution to help protect you. And then you tell me if you want to pay for that solution.
Mm-hmm. And I do like the analogy, and maybe if I would have written my book sooner, Doug wouldn't have gotten his 3 speeding tickets.
Well, yeah, we would have had met a while back because my last one was like, I don't know, 2.5 years ago. But,
Yeah.
you know, the other two, I don't even think they're on my record anymore. But yes, I tend to go in like spurts of 3 at a time. So, but, you know, I'd like to say that I wasn't speeding. I was just in a hurry. You know, that doesn't work with the police officer either.
Well, I mean, you didn't admit to speeding. I mean, lawyers listen to every word that's said. You didn't say, I know I was speeding. I was in a hurry. Doesn't mean you knew you were speeding. Never mind, guys, forget. I'm not telling you to say that.
No, I'm with you because I always tell my clients if they're ever involved in an accident, never to admit fault, even if they think it's their fault, never admit fault unless they hit me. If they hit me, then just flat out admit it. Because this is what everybody's doing. No, I mean, I have clients all the time get hit by somebody. And then by the time the 2 insurance companies talk to each other, the driver that hit them is denying it was him.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I just tell my client, never admit fault. Let someone prove it's your fault. Let the insurance companies fight it out. That's what they're for. Because the insurance company, as soon as they have to pay, then they get their lawyers involved and figure out the cheapest way to make that thing go away. But if you admit fault, then all of a sudden your deductibles kicked in, your insurance rates are going up at the next renewal, and or if I'm your agent, I'm trying to shop you, and it's still going to be higher, but I might get you a better rate at another company. But don't admit fault; make them prove it's your fault. Have Gene prove it's your fault, and then you can admit to it.
No, Gene prevents them from proving that it's your fault.
Exactly. I'm just saying, if I was at fault, you're my attorney, you know, then we'd figure out. No, at that point, I would eventually say, but you're right. That thought process of don't ever admitting. I was on a call yesterday with somebody, and he has a charity, a 501c3 that helps people with medical bills, and he was like, he had a client that had to go to court because this hospital was charging him $9,000. And he said, don't pay him. Go to court, tell the judge, just say right now, until we can get an attorney involved, just tell them that you don't owe that money. That's not saying anything wrong. Just say you don't believe you owe that money. Don't admit to it, because as soon as you admit to it, then they're going to put a judgment in the other person's favor and get it. Let's get an attorney put together. But anyway, this 501c3 actually goes after bills like that because the hospitals are charging way too much. So he helps fight them. He's actually made a lot of bills go away because of his process, and he just helps these people out. But anyway, that's another story.
Another story for another Facebook Live.
Exactly.
I feel like we've covered so much, but there's so much more we need to talk about because you go into so many details about all of these different types of insurance.
Right. Well, you know, the truth is, I think for a lot of people, insurance is boring anyway. Like I love it because what I love about it is I learn about the individual. Right. Like a business owner, I learned why he started his business. What was his passion to start a business? You know, and I get to learn the process. That's what I love about it. I, like most people, don't like having to read every page on that contract to understand why are we eliminating this from a policy. I just had a conversation with one of my clients needed a certificate of insurance to do a job for a bigger company, and this person read all the pages I sent them and said, hey, and this is a roofer. It said, hey, this says it's excluding commercial roofing. I'm like, where did you see that at? So then I have to go back and read every page and print the one page where it shows commercial roofing is covered by the policy and send it to her. It never said what she said, but now I have to go back and do it because people will want to assume things. But so that's where I say it's boring, because I have to read every page on your insurance policy. And then I have one in my office that backs me up to make sure everything I promised you is covered on that policy. And for about a 30-second, okay, let's call it a half hour, because it took me a half hour to find a page that shows the coverage, 180, that I did sell the right policy and I did have the right coverage. But for about a half hour, I was concerned, like, wait, no, I couldn't have messed up. I know I did this as a commercial roofer. But anyway, there's doubt until, like, if you're my client, you call me up on the phone and, hey, am I covered? I'm going to say, give me a second. Let me go look at your policy. No matter if I know for sure you are, I want to look at your policy, because we have hundreds of insurance companies. And when you call me on the phone, it may take me a minute to remember who I have you insured with. So I got to go back and look at your policy just to make sure. So if I was your agent and you call me, just bear with me, because I want to look at the policy again just to review it before I tell you yes, because I'd hate to tell you yes and then find out that there is something missing off that policy, which could happen. Gene, did we lose you? I lost your camera. But anyway, I don't know if you can hear me, but so I'll just keep talking. I love my job. I love helping people. It is one of the most interesting things that I've done in my career. I love to help people figure out what's important to them in their life. So hopefully that's helpful. And again, I'm Doug Buren with Loudoun Insurance Group. We specialize in helping protect anything that matters to you, whether it be your business, your home, your auto, your children. You know, we have coverages for anything and everything. If you had any questions, feel free to give me a call. My number is 703-477-3022. That is my cell. That's the easiest way to reach me. You can text me a question. If you're not sure about your coverage on your current policies, you can certainly text me, and I can shoot you my email, because my email is long. It is doug@loudoninsurancegroup.com. I know it's a long one, but feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Hey.
Lost my internet connection, but I'm back.
That's what I saw. So I just did a commercial. I just gave everybody my name and my email address and my phone number.
And we'll type that into the comments too. Janine, glad you're watching. She asked if you do health insurance.
Our agency does, yes.
So people come to you to try to find a policy, and you work with different insurance companies, correct?
Correct. We try to match the client up with the right insurance company to give them the best coverage. So, like you said, what was her name? Jean?
Janine.
Janine. So, with the in the health insurance world, we're limited. It's, you have the certain companies. Everybody has them. If you're a health insurance, they're the same. So when the pricing comes down, if I presented the same price on the health insurance world, it's going to be the same price no matter what agency it is, unless that other agency is charging a broker fee on top of it. But the insurance world it's one price. We do have a service that can actually help educate people on the health insurance world, and it's actually a newer company. It's called Amaze Health, that actually get a little app on your phone. I don't know if you can see the phone or not, but I'm going to show it to you. This company, this guy right here that started this company, actually took on the healthcare world. He cost the hospitals $8 billion because he believes the healthcare system is messed up. This app, if you have this app, it's like a 24-hour telemed. You can talk to a doctor, but they can also guide you along. They can actually tell you, you can say you're going to the emergency room, they'll tell you where the closest Medicare place. I keep saying Medicare.
Urgent care.
Yeah, urgent care places, because they'll recommend go there, and they'll tell you how much it's going to cost before you get there to have your checkups done, and they'll even talk to the doctor for you. So, but this program I love. This is new for me. I'm learning it now, but it's a great service because it actually, for business owners or an individual, can get this service, and there's videos and they teach you how to use your current healthcare program to take advantage of it and get the most out of it. And by using these guys, if you need to schedule a doctor's appointment, no copays included in this. So you could call them and they can schedule your appointments for you. So health insurance companies still, even though you do a Zoom call to get an appointment, they'll still charge you your copay. So those are things you got to look at on your insurance policy. But yes, we can help her with her health insurance. We can do it.
Okay. Well, yeah. So Doug can help you with pretty much any insurance needs that you have, right? You can find people a policy.
Correct. If they reached out to me and had any kind of questions about insurance in general, I can get them in contact with the right person. Because I specialize in the general liability side, but I would like for people to know me as your all assured solutions for your insurance. So
all assured solutions.
All assured solutions, correct. So if you just reach out to me, you got questions, I'll get you in contact with the right people.
Okay. Awesome. Doug is the guy to know.
I would like to think I am.
Yeah, and the cyber attack thing that you were talking about earlier is really scary. So
it is. It is. It's a crazy. I mean, it's the world we live in. We live in this. I mean, even the app. It's instant gratification. You can use all these apps that we have for the technology and get it out there, and it's great. But it also opens up the door for one more thing. Like most of us have, our banks are monitoring our accounts because they want to lose the money. They're not really worried about us. They just lose the money. But yet, if you add certain services, there's companies out there that can monitor your identity for you. There's companies out there that'll keep you in the loop and let you know what's going on. So it just depends on how you want to do it, but there's always a service. And if you had any questions, I can introduce you to all the people to help protect you in every avenue. So again, what's my motto? I'm your all assured solutions expert. So, I can advise you and give you, and again, my whole thing is to find you the best coverage for the least amount of money. In life totally is free, but there are some services that we can give for free that'll help benefit a lot of clients. So,
and you also have to look at, what are you getting for what you're paying? Are you spending less money but getting less coverage, and you should really be having more coverage? Goes to what you're saying about knowing your client, knowing me, knowing what's most important to me with my health insurance needs or my business needs before selling me a policy. Because if you sell me a policy that's not going to help me, I'm not going to be happy.
Right.
But so that's why what you do is very important. Getting to know the person, not just taking somebody's money.
Right. I mean, from your end of it, you see people's insurance policies all the time when they're coming to you, and you're going up against, you're getting the information of who hit them or something if they're involved in an accident, and you see those people with the state minimum coverage on their auto insurance, and there you go, and that person goes, well, they said I'm fully covered, but you're only fully covered for like $20,000 in property damage, $25,000, $2,550 on the liability end. That is nothing. I tell, when people ask me to sell them an auto policy like that, I tell them to find another agent, because I said I'd hate it if you hit me, because your policy would barely do anything for me, and then I'd have to turn it in on my uninsured portion of my auto policy to get my car taken care of, much less if I ever got hurt, you know? So, I can give advice. Advice is free, you know? I'm not a hard sell for a person. You know, if you call me up and say, hey, can you help me with this? I can help you. And I can tell you why this is a better product, but I'm not going to sit there and hound you and say, here, please buy from me. There's too many clients out there that, you know, need help. So I'm not your hard sale type person. I will give you the proper advice and tell you why you need certain coverages.
Mm-hmm.
Too popular belief, a lot of people don't know what coverages they need.
Yeah.
Most people only know what they pay per month. Most people don't even know who their insurance company is. Until
Well, that's crazy.
it happens.
Do you also sell life insurance?
We do. And I
really everything. He does everything.
I do everything from, you know, I can help you with a term policy, a whole life policy, or a universal policy. We can help with any kind of insurance needs at all.
Okay.
So, again, I want to be thought of as your all assured solution. So if you're unsure of what you have, shoot me a message, you know, call me, you know, I will be more than happy to talk to you. And again, if I'm not the person that's going to take care of you, I will refer you to the right person in our office that can help you with it. And we'll make sure you're properly covered. And I will walk them all the way through the process. Just reach out to me and ask me a question, and I'll be more than happy to answer it for you.
And you can help people switch insurance too if they find out they're not happy with whatever their current policy is.
Yep, I can't help them cancel it, but I can help them get what they need to cancel it. Because technically, unless I'm their agent, I can't help them cancel their policy, but I can guide them through the process. I can fill out the forms for them. We can send it in, but they technically have to sign it, you know. And depending on the other agency or the company who has it, they all have different rules. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it can help them.
Okay, awesome. Well, Doug, thank you so much for all of this information. I know that you have to get going. You are a busy person, but I'd love for you to come back another time. We can like maybe do a deep dive into something more specific, like the business or the health or auto or something, because I just think there's so much more we could talk about.
Sure, whatever works for you. I'll be more than happy to. And again, I'm trying not to bore. I know a lot of this stuff can be boring.
Not boring to me.
You know, but I'd be more than happy to jump on anytime. You
okay.
know,
Awesome.
I gave up an HBA board meeting to be on here today.
You gave up an HGBA board meeting?
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, guys, to everybody in the Haymarket Gainesville Business Association. If you are watching this or the replay.
Right.
Doug was providing valuable information, so this was helpful.
Well, exactly. I told them it was very important that we scheduled this 3 months in advance, and they switched this month's board meeting. It would have been yesterday, and they switched it to Wednesday. I said, sorry, can't be there. So, but anyway, it's all good.
HGBA is a good group. So
it's a great group, and the board will be fine without me today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a lot of the times people go back and watch the replays of these videos, not necessarily live. So if you're watching the replay and have any questions, type them into the chat. If you want to reach out to Doug, he'll be more than happy to answer any questions you guys have at any point. So definitely feel free to reach out if you're watching this the replay, even if we're not live anymore. We will get back to you, or Doug will get back to you.
Absolutely.
Anything you want to leave us with before you go?
I just want to say thank you for your time. I mean, again, I'm not great at this video chat stuff, but I appreciate you inviting me on, and I appreciate all the people watching and learning about this lovely insurance world that I love and I'm passionate about. But I know it's not exciting for a lot of people, but it's good to know when you're properly covered in case the worst happens. Mm-hmm. With that. So I guess that would be my final word. Actually my final word is, who am I? I am Doug, your all assured solutions. All assured solutions. So any kind of insurance you can think of, I can help you with.
Awesome. And I know Doug. I've known Doug for probably 2 years, and I didn't know that he deals with everything. because the people who I've met before who are health insurance advisors, usually it's specific things that they work in. But good to know, Doug. All Assured Solutions, you do everything.
We can help. We have solutions. We can help. You don't have if there's no problem, there's no solution. So
that's true. All right. Well, thanks, Doug, so much for joining me. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Janine, for tuning in. I haven't seen you in forever, or it feels like forever with this COVID world. But yeah, thanks, guys. And if you have any questions, type them into the comments, and I will see you guys next time. And Doug, I will talk to you in a minute after we are done with live.
Sounds great.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.